Throughout history, one topic has sparked endless debate: child marriage in Islam. Critics argue it's a moral flaw. Defenders say it's a matter of context, culture, and misinterpretation. But what's the real truth behind this controversial subject? Today, we investigate, not to attack or defend, but to understand. To understand Islamic marriage laws, we have to step back 1,400 years to 7th century Arabia, a time vastly different from today. Back then, life expectancy was short, and people often married young, not just in Arabia, but across the world, in Europe, Africa, and Asia. Marriage was less about romance and more about social alliances, protection, and survival. In Islamic texts, the Prophet Muhammad's marriage to Aisha is often cited as the main source of controversy. Historical records differ. Some say she was very young, others suggest she was in her late teens. But regardless, that story became the foundation for centuries of debate. So what does Islam actually say about age in marriage? Surprisingly, the Quran does not specify a number. Instead, it emphasizes maturity and consent, using the Arabic term baligh, meaning physical and mental maturity. Scholars over time have interpreted this differently. In some traditional societies, puberty was considered maturity. In others, scholars began setting higher standards, saying marriage should only occur when a person is capable of responsibility and decision-making. Modern Islamic scholars and human rights advocates argue that child marriage contradicts the core Islamic principle of justice and protection, meaning that even if it was historically practiced, it shouldn't be accepted today. Today, Muslim-majority countries have very different laws. In Saudi Arabia, reforms have recently raised the minimum marriage age. In Egypt, Morocco, and Indonesia, governments have passed strict laws to prevent child marriage, often citing Islamic values as their moral foundation. Yet, in rural areas and poorer regions, culture often overrides religion, and early marriages continue. Critics of Islam often point to ancient practices without considering historical evolution. Meanwhile, defenders sometimes ignore the need for reform within their own communities. The truth lies in the tension between scripture, culture, and time, and it's a debate still unfolding. So, does Islam allow child marriage? The honest answer: it once reflected a different world, but it doesn't have to define ours. Religion, like society, evolves through understanding, compassion, and courage. If we truly want to honor faith, perhaps the real question is not what was once allowed, but what is right and just today.